Hello, and welcome to an Intro to LEAP, getting started with the Gateway Indicators for Success. My name is Kellyanne Rothwell, and I am a member of the Peer Observer team. Welcome to DPS. We're so excited to have you here. Let's get started. During today's session, we are going to develop an understanding of a group of 4 indicators of effective teaching called the Gateway Indicators. These indicators are crucial for all teachers to be consistently effective in their classroom practice. Leading Effective Academic Practice, or LEAP, is the growth and performance system that is specific to the Denver Public Schools. Teachers in DPS are coached and evaluated on the multiple measures contained within this LEAP system. During today's session, we are going to focus on several indicators that make up the framework for effective teaching. These are called the Gateway Indicators. While this session will only focus on the Gateway Indicators, which are an important but small part of your overall evaluation, you will have an opportunity to learn more about the entire LEAP system and all of its components in an asynchronous session in the near future titled LEAP 101. In that session, you will learn more about the multiple measures of LEAP and how coaching cycles support your teaching practice, end of year ratings, and overall growth. There are 12 indicators in the framework for effective teaching that help us define best practice in DPS. 4 of these indicators focus on learning environment, and 8 help us define effective instructional practice. The first coaching cycle consists of these 4 gateway indicators: LE3, I1, I3, and I5. Research has shown that these 4 indicators are the foundation of effective instruction. We will explore the expectations of each indicator shortly. All teachers in DPS will engage in a coaching cycle with their in-building coach around these indicators. The coaching cycle will consist of a meeting with your coach where the expectations for meeting the effective criteria for each indicator will be detailed. Additionally, you and your in-building coach will collaborate on what the next 4 to 6 weeks of support will look like before a formal evaluation of these indicators take place. Please use this QR code or the tiny URL to access the Framework for Effective Teaching Gateway Indicators document. You may do so in English or Spanish. The first indicator that we're going to focus on is LE3. This is titled Implements High Clear Expectations for Students' Behavior and Routines. We know that learning cannot take place when off-task behavior disrupts the learning environment. Let's explore what the expectations are for providing your students with a learning experience free from distraction while aligning your lessons to an effective score in this indicator. The first teacher behavior in the effective performance category in LE3 states that high expectations for students' behavior are clearly taught, consistently communicated, and equitably applied to all students. We invite you to think about a strategy or strategies that you already know for communicating high expectations for student behavior. Here you'll see a few key points to drive home our understanding of aligning a lesson to effective in LE3 while setting up your students for a successful learning experience. High expectations for student behavior are clearly and consistently communicated, and instructional time is maximized. The next indicator we are going to explore is the first indicator in the instructional methods section of the framework. I1 is titled Clearly Communicates the Standards-Based Content and Language Objectives for the Lesson. Clearly communicating both the content and language objectives is foundational to effective classroom instruction. In your Gateway Indicators document, please take the time to look at I-1, where are invited to read and compare the first two effective teacher behaviors and the first two approaching teacher behaviors. Please note that in order to align to effective in I-1, you must meet both bolded behaviors in the effective column. In your reading, you will notice that Denver Public Schools requires all teachers in every content area to include both standards-based content objectives and language objectives in each and every lesson. Language objectives provide students with multiple opportunities throughout the lesson to articulate their learning through the use of academic language. Take a moment to consider the key ideas for I-1. Standards-based content objectives, language objectives, and opportunities for students to demonstrate their understanding of objectives using language. The next indicator we are going to explore is I3, which is titled Intentionally Uses Instructional Methods and Structures, Sequence and Pacing to Teach the Content and Language Objectives. We invite you to take note of the effective behaviors in I3. Please note that I3 is the only indicator in our framework that is comprised of only teacher behaviors. Here is a summary of some of the keywords and phrases that describe effective practice in I3. Intentional choices to promote all student progress towards the CLO. Structure and pacing, balance of student and teacher talk, and content knowledge aligned to standards. The next indicator we are going to explore is the last gateway indicator, I5. I5 involves checking for students' understanding and progress towards proficiency of both the content and language objectives. To develop a deeper understanding of the effective behaviors for I5, consider how you might meet the effective behavior from the LEAP framework for checking for understanding. Let's take a look at the summary of the key ideas for I5, checking for understanding. Here we note that checks for understanding should be aligned to both the content and language objectives. We're monitoring students for their understanding. We are adjusting instruction and asking rigorous questions. That completes our overview of the four gateway indicators. As a reminder, these are the four indicators that all teachers in DPS will engage in a coaching cycle with their in-building coach at the beginning of the school year. You will be asked to join in a pre-meeting to go over the indicators and look fors. Then your coach will informally observe several of your lessons with feedback in the days after each observation before formally evaluating you on all four gateway indicators near the conclusion of a 4 to 6 week coaching cycle. It is important that you understand this process so that you can advocate for yourself if any of these steps are not included. The peer observer team, of which I am a part, can support you and your in-building coach during your first coaching cycle on the gateway indicators. One of the advantages of asking us to collaborate with you is that we each have a background in a specific content area that we've taught. We have peer observers with expertise in art, early childhood education, ELA-S instruction, Spanish language acquisition, music, physical education, special education, science, math, social studies, and world languages. If you are interested in collaborating with someone who has expertise in your content area, please visit this link or scan the QR code. Thank you for engaging in this learning about the LEAP Gateway indicators. Our team is wishing you a successful school year. Good luck.